Welcome back to War Thunder. Well, I won't say or even begin to defend that this is actual gameplay. This is just me derping around in the test flight section of War Thunder. The plane that you're seeing here today, and yes, I am flying it in cockpit view, is the Ki-16 I-Tei. It is a battle rating 4.3 and I believe rank 3 Japanese interceptor of the Imperial Japanese Army. And what you're seeing me do here is basically practice dive bombing runs, and there really is no better a target than a ship, because it's moving. It's a fairly sizable target, and you know what? Why not? There's only one target on the entire practice range of this, so I guess we're going hunting for Myokos today. So, little notes about this little practice session is that this is actually flown with realistic battle settings, even though you might be looking at the reload timer up there and thinking that this is actually arcade. No, it isn't. The test flight section, if you fiddle with it, you can fly any level of difficulty you want in there, and also you don't have to stop by the runway on there and land every time you want to practice a particular type of maneuver. Another maneuver that I really love to keep practicing is all of the motions necessary for turning the engine on and off in midair. This is something that I found can, especially for these inlines, the inline engines, the Ki-16, things like the BF-109, the Mustang, being able to turn the engine on and off in midair, it really can make the difference. Whether you're looking to do the mid-air fire extinguishing, or you're looking to gain a bit of a sound edge on your opponents that you have an altitude advantage against. So basically all you need to do is you throttle back and you dab your I key, and let's see, can we get this Myoko this time? I don't think 250 kilogram bombs are enough to sink it. Nope. But at least we scored a hit, and wow, right amidships. So when it comes to this, I started doing these just out of a mere curiosity, because I tend to play a lot of World of Warships, both surface vessels and aircraft carriers, and it always struck me as, how hard would this actually be to implement something a little bit more less RTS-like into the game? And I can tell you with very firm certainty that, wow, this probably is not the solution wargaming is looking for. As much fun as this actually can be, it is not difficult. So, things to consider about this. The ship we are targeting, it is not maneuvering aggressively. It is not throwing up a field of anti-aircraft fire that is trying to whack us out of the sky. And of course, we are going for the very ideal bomb drop over the stern, going from the stern towards the bow. And we are coming in from a minimum of 1 kilometer altitude, and we are releasing as close to the ship as possible. And just for the record, we do have the delay set to 3 seconds, so if things miss, well, they're not going to do any damages. They're just going to explode harmlessly underneath it, and another pair of very fine hits. Now there's a point in here where I start questioning, how low can I go? And I don't mean like how low can I initiate the dive. There's really only so much you can really do with this. You want to go from as high as altitude that you can when you start the dive, and the reason is you give the bombs more kinetic energy to punch through the deck armor. But the reason here is that because of the way bombs drop, and the spread that comes from the bombs actually dropping off the pylons, I want to be as close to the ground as possible, or in this case, as close to the deck of the ship as possible. And that means I've got to get really, really close. Almost to the point where they could pick up a fly swatter, come up there, and swat, swat, swat my hien out of the sky. Not exactly something that I am all too familiar with doing, especially in cockpit view. So let's have a go. Let's see how close we can go. And for those that are not familiar with some of the display settings I have on here, I really do recommend that you go into your HUD controls in the War Thunder client and enable the oil temperature and the water temperature to be displayed. Because in realistic battle settings, unlike in arcade, the engine will not automatically cut off the wartime emergency power. Instead, it will just burn your engine to the ground. Alright, so let's try this here. We're going to throttle back. We're going to throw it into the inverted dive here. Come back out. We're pretty close to there. Vertical. Drop the bombs. And ooh, butt clinched there. Alright, those look like a miss. More than likely, I was not at a nice attitude on there. There was a bit more angle to one side than the other, and in War Thunder, that makes, if your attitude is not nice and perfect when you make the bomb drop or the rocket drop, all kinds of RNG steps in. I know they make this bold claim about tired of dispersion, play War Thunder. Well, not quite correct. To say that about the tank rounds is certainly more accurate, but there's always this bomb drop dispersion. It's always there, and you can take some steps through the crew skills to mitigate this. But for the most part, it's always going to be a small factor, and that's another reason why we want to get as low as possible. Alright, let's try again. I want a hit. How low can we go and score a hit? Those last ones were basically the effect of we bounced. And for those of you who play World of Tanks, you know how ludicrous we bounced can be. Oh no, we're not settling for this. We're gonna go for it again. I must encourage you, for those that have not actually tried flying in the cockpit view, to just give it a try. It is a very interesting experience. I wouldn't recommend it for arcade battles because those are very fast-paced. They're very, very intense in here. Alright. But, you know, you can go for it in realistic battles. Definitely, I think you're pretty much forced to do it in simulator. Alright, we're gonna go in here, make the drop. We're a little higher off the deck this time, but that's a hit. Alright. I think we're doing pretty well so far, huh? So, prior to starting this particular recording, I'd managed to score 2 hits and 1 miss. So, we're a little bit better than 50% on this drop rate, but I think it's pretty clear that this is not the mechanic for World of Warships. Oh, how I would love it. How I know a lot of people would love it. However, to balance it correctly, you would be talking about all kinds of more magical arcadey bullshit that the game really doesn't need. So, I think we got a pretty good handling on how to do that, and I think I'm going to end this video with a short little in-cockpit landing sequence. And now, contrary to a lot of YouTubers, I'm going to show you how to do it without using your guns as an air brake. So we're going to throttle back pretty far out, and that's the big thing with planes. You got to think long way out, and just sometimes you got to do these S maneuvers, throw the flaps a little bit. You're not really looking to alter the lift characteristics all that much in the turns. What you're looking for is just to increase the ways that drag can work its magic. Oh, now I judge that I'm gonna fall a little short if I don't pulse that engine up. I don't do it for long because it's gonna be fun trying to land this enough, as it were. And throw the gear down, throw the flaps down. Alright, at this point, it's very important. If you're trying to land, only use your rudder controls from here on out. War Thunder doesn't have all those wonderful air currents that would plague a regular pilot, so you don't need to worry too much about the ailerons or all that goodness. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed a little bit more of a cockpit view and a little bit different perspective than I normally put on the channel. Anyway, thank you. Have a good day.